Alright, so we all know the plan. Archibald, run an assault on Moscow. Denise, kidnap a top physicist in Paris. And Teresa, you have the most villainous job of all. Pick up some 2-inch bolts from that hardware store in DC. In Victorian Masterminds, players each take on the role of an evil genius, building their own Jules Vernean semi-steampunk mechanized monstrosity and commanding their agents to carry out evil schemes in 5 different world capitals. Each player has the same 5 agents, but each of those agents do different things, from the henchman who claims face-up missions in the city to the engineer who activates your machine's special powers. Each are useful, each are interesting, but all of them are useless without resolution. The whole deal with Victorian Masterminds, which is a very clever and fast-paced game, is that your turn pretty much consists of drawing the top agent from your stack of agents, looking at it, then deciding which of the 5 cities that you're going to place it in. If there are only 2 or less agents in that city, then nothing happens and play just continues with the next player taking their turn and placing their agent. But if there are ever 3 agents in a city, then boom, an explosion of worker placement awesomeness happens where you flip over the entire stack and then resolve each of the agents in order. Regardless of what type of agent was placed, your agent always gives you the benefit for that city. It may be copper plates or bolts to build up your infernal machine, firepower needed to capture buildings, kidnap scientists who can be spent for a variety of effects, or Da Vinci codexes worth points, and if you get 5 or more, it'll let you start choosing from available agents rather than the top one of your stack. Once you get your benefit, you attempt the agent's ability. Then the resolved agent is returned to its player's discard pile, only to be refreshed and shuffled when the player has no more agents to play. The number 2 gives you an extra one of the city's benefit. The aforementioned henchman takes on the city's mission card if they meet its conditions. The gunner nabs you a building if firepower meets or beats the Secret Service level, and the saboteur just nullifies the ability of the next agent in line. Then there is the engineer, and to talk about the engineer, we gotta talk about your machine. Each player's machine is unique, but the difference ain't just cosmetic. When activating an engineer, you resolve the ability of your machine's engine room, which can be upgraded and varies significantly from one steam monstrosity to the next, creating different strategies. Tarantula focuses on buildings, Mephisto is a doppelganger, Red Kraken is on that hot Dan Brown tip, and so on and so forth. Like most people, I love good visuals in a game, and while this game has pretty decent artwork and the building sculpts are really quite amazing, the standout visual presentation are the schematics for the different machines that each asymmetric player power is going to be constructing throughout the game, which is a fantastic way of allowing you to diversify your options and choose what path that you're going to develop. And it just looks really cool as you're building up the different plates on each of the unique machines. The way that it works is, see these kind of annoyingly small reversible copper plate and bolt tokens? Well, every time that you receive one, you actually assign it to a constructible part of your player board. If you filled out one of the areas, you add the corresponding token, then wipe the plates and bolts clean, and now you get yourself a leg, or dorsal fin, or some other mechanized animal part which grants you stuff ranging from points at the end of the game to holding cells for more scientists, or best yet, upgrades to your engineer, which can be used in addition to your default ability when resolving your dude. This freedom to build and upgrade your mech, which, by the way, can we just call it a mech? And the way that you take your agents and just kind of cast them out into the board hoping to trigger a resolution creates a really simple structure for all kinds of juicy strategic meat to be on its bones. From there, the game continues until a player completes their machine or the Secret Service level hits the max, which is raised by 1 every time a building is captured. Players get 1 more turn and then all remaining agents on the board are resolved. Points are totaled, which come from buildings captured, Da Vinci Codex tokens, certain completed machine parts, missions, and bonus tokens earned from capitals and engineer abilities. Then the player with the most points wins. Look, it may seem like there's a lot going on in this game, but at its core, in truth, it's quite a simple game. And for me, it was kind of a paradigm shift because it's not so much worker placement as it is worker deployment. And all of the nuance of the game really comes in choosing how you're going to resolve your given worker. I mean, take the building capturer, for instance. This person, they get to choose which of the buildings at their location they take, but each of the buildings have a bonus that they give you on top of the sweet 2 points you score for the building. So are you going to take the one that gives you the bonus copper to fulfill some part of your machine, or are you going to take the one that gives you a scientist, which, speaking of these scientists, if you spend 1 at the beginning of your turn, you can assign an agent that's in your discard pile instead of the top one from your stack. Or if you have 2, after placing your agent, you can spend them to immediately take another turn. Or a third scientist will let you just take any building on the board. They are powerful and awesome. And then another example of this nuance is the mission cards, which can get kind of tricky. Like, you have to have a certain building in your supply, or you have to have a certain amount of firepower in order to meet the level. But a new mission card isn't added until after the full stack is resolved. So you have to watch out for other agents that might be trying to claim the mission you're going after. That said, as intuitive and clever as I find this game to be, there is one aspect that I very much don't like. The rulebook is alright at covering the basics if you read straight through, but it's surprisingly difficult to navigate for reference because some rules are tucked away in unexpected corners. Furthermore, it has no reference or clarification for the mission cards or player powers, which would be okay if they were intuitive, but in some cases are sorely ambiguous. Does Claus's engineer let you deploy another agent immediately or next turn? What does your agent mean in the context of someone else's turn? Then, probably the most baffling is that the rulebook in no way covers what happens if you don't have an agent to play on your turn because they're all deployed at city spaces, which isn't common but certainly a possibility, especially in 2-player games. According to some dude named Zongwen Liu on BGG, you may choose to activate one of the stacks as if there were already 3 agents. That's not reinforced by any of the rules, but okay, sure, works for me. These are questions I shouldn't have to turn to the internet for. And yeah, I'm sure that upon its official release that CMON will probably have an FAQ up in order to answer these questions. But I mean, come on, this is 2019, and the publisher and co-designers of this game are really established entities in this space. Don't let people's first experience with awesome games like Victorian Masterminds be marred by poor formatting and ambiguity. Overall, I really like the game. It has a certain tempo that I haven't really felt in other games. It feels strategic and thematic without ever really feeling daunting, and I really like that you always feel like you're being propelled forward no matter what you're doing. I was also really pleasantly surprised to find how well the game scales to different player counts, because the game end trigger accounts for a player finishing out their machine or the Secret Service level reaching 12, so it really stays within this consistent playtime. And furthermore, those machines themselves, they give you a nice push in a general direction as far as strategy because they have their inert power, but it doesn't dictate how you have to approach the game in any way. You still have a nice little bit of customization in how you develop, in what opportunities are available to you, and what agents end up getting resolved. So yeah, it plays well, it looks great on a table, it feels balanced, you have cool asymmetric powers, it clearly evokes an insidious theme, and it does so through implementation of a clever and fresh feeling and fun core mechanic. So I really like Victorian Masterminds. I enjoy it, I recommend it, and I just can't wait till I get to play it again. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Jack for the Cardboard Herald. If you enjoyed this video, we have all kinds of other reviews, interviews, and recommendations via writing, podcasts, and video here on our channel and website cardboardherald.com. Our content is audience supported, so if you want to show your support, please visit our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Cardboard Herald.